So I'm sure you have seen a lot of streamers doing all these movement sort of things, and you wonder that how can you do all this type of YY movement. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can do all this YY and jump at the same time with the help of DS4. So this is my controller, as you can see right here. Anytime I just click up on those the triangle, as you can see, I am doing YY and jumping at the same time without pressing X. This is when I press X, as you can see. When I YY, it does the YY and jump at the same time. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can YY and jump at the same time. So it makes your movement very smooth. You don't have to do triangle and slide and jump. You don't have to do slide and jump. But when you press this, you can just easily slide at the same time. As you can see, it's far more easy. You slide at the same time. Very easy. This is the profile I created for my YY and jumping, but if I don't want it to YY and jump, I'm just going to press the test B. So if I come back to my game, you see that if I press the YY, I'm not going to jump. It's just going to be YY alone. You can see that it's just YY without me jumping. So for you to be able to create the YY that can jump, you just have to go to your DS4 and create a new profile. So I'm just going to press yes, and you can just leave this as default and press apply. So I'm just going to name the profile YY jump for YT. I'm going to click on save. So as you can see, if I come to my firing range, see that if I press YY, it's not going to do anything. How come my YY is still doing something? The test is I didn't change my profile in my DS4 settings, so I'm just going to turn it to the YY jump. So if you see that if I come here, if I press the YY, it's not going to, if I press triangle, it's not going to YY. It's just like normal changing of gun, just like it's a default controller. Like this is how a normal default controller is going to be. When you can switch, you can shoot, everything is going to be default. I can use my plates by those holding triangles at default. So for you to be able to YY and jump, all you just have to do is to come to the profile. It's okay. All you just have to do is to come to the DS4, then you click on edit. So this is what it's going to look like. Then you're going to click on triangle. You click on the triangle and you see record macro. So this is what it's going to look like. The one you're going to press next is you'll see your record delay, and the play once you will change it to repeat while heard. So what you just have to do is change this to repeat while heard and tick on record delay. Then you are going to press record. So I'm going to, after you press record, you are going to make sure you don't click on any button on the controller while you click triangle 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So if you do it if you do it 4 times, it's just going to be like I don't really know how to explain it, but if you do it 4 times, it's going to always switch the gun to another gun. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So if you have done this 3 times, then you're going to press on X just once, just like that. Then you're going to press stop. And after you have done that, then you see all this where it says wait till 3 ms. You're going to change that to, as for this video, I'm going to be using 10 and 5. So I'll use the first one will be 10, second one would be 5, third one will be 10 again. They repeat the same thing. Second one will be 5, then 5. You can actually change this to any number you want, but for me, I prefer it to be at this number. So, and I'll put it as at 10 also. Then once you are done doing this, you are going to click on save. Then you click on apply and save. So see that if I come back to this firing range, if I click on the triangle is going to YY. As you can see, it's doing YY and jumping. It's as easy as that. So now you can easily do your YY. Oh, sorry. You can easily YY and slide at the same time without any issue. For example, as you can see, if you move forward, when you move forward, that's when you know it's effective. When you're moving forward, triangle YY. Move forward, triangle YY. You can see anytime I move forward, as I click on this triangle, it's going to YY and jump, and while on the air, it's going to slide at the same time. So that's what most streamers use for their movements. Not really everyone knows how to do this, but I've really studied DS4, and there's a lot of things you can do. If you want it to be if you want it to crouch, you can actually use crouch, but as for me, I prefer it as jumping. So when you YY, you can jump and slide at the same time. It's as easy as that. And one more thing, if you are thinking of how you're going to play it up, with these settings like this, you won't be able to play it up. So for you to be able to play it up, you have to head back to the DS4 and you click on edit. So you see this button right here, this left mouse button. That's the button I'm going to change for it. I'm going to be using to play it up. So you see this button right here. So I'm going to click on this right here, then I'm going to click on triangle. So that's all it does need to do. So anytime you hold this button down, it's going to play it up. So it's as easy as that. So if you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and like this video so I can make you guys more content like this. So that's all for now, and see you guys in the next one. So this also still works for triangle. You see, if I press it now, I can just need to switch my gun. It's as easy as that. Most of the time, if you try to YY, it might glitch at maybe I'm trying to change your gun real quick. Sometimes you can just use this, so it's easy and fast. You just use this, and if you want to play it up, you hold it down. So it's as easy as that. You can see right there, just with triangle, the movement is so easy. All I don't need is to click on YY. You don't have to be pressing YYOX. It has to be pressing OX. Those triangle and X, triangle and O. Triangle and O. So it's just so easy as that. Alright, so I'm sure you can tell from the look of things. As you can see right here, I'm only going to be pressing triangle, which is going to be YY for me. Just with one click. As you can see right there, just with one click. I'm not pressing X, just with one click of YY. I don't know if you can see this, just with the one click of YY that's doing all this.